We gotta go back to hip hop. Go ahead. Go ahead.
We got a legend. I just want to let everybody know, who we have in the building and the impact that they had on hip hop history. I mean, JVC Force, dude, big time. I mean, a lot of hip hop heads know you guys, but you know, underrated, slept on. You know, I feel like you would agree with that, but someone who definitely had an impact. But you know, the Locks, Heavy D, DMX, Grand Puba, these are just a few of the people who come from the Westchester area. Going back then, was it harder for someone from your area to get recognized because you are outside of the 5 boroughs?
Absolutely. If you were outside of 5 boroughs in both the regions I was in, Long Island and Westchester, you wasn't really considered and respected as real hip hop. Like, you really had to be from Brooklyn or the Bronx or Queens or something. So you had to go harder. You know what I'm saying? You had to prove. And the reason we did Strong Island, getting to that, before we did that record, now we sampled Chuck D. He said Strong Island, where I got him wildin'. Before that, Rakim said rough enough to break New York from Long Island, and the only island I was on from the strong one. But outside of New York, if you really didn't know, you didn't know Public Enemy and Rakim wasn't from one of the boroughs. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was really holding it down for Long Island. So we did that joint. B Love, my partner, he wrote most of it. You know what I'm saying? I give him his credit. You know what I'm saying? And we did this joint, and it became the anthem for Long Island, like, you know what I'm saying, which is a very Long Island, and props to everybody who came before us and holds it down. And that's why we did it. We just wanted to pay tribute to where we was at, the same way KRS did with South Bronx, the same way Shan did with Queensbridge, the same way the 150 rappers do about Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you know, the same way N.W.A. and others did about Compton. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just wanted to rep an area that wasn't being repped like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about earlier about not being repped in the 50th anniversary of hip hop. You know, that was something that I felt the same way on the East Coast. Usually, I mean, here on the West Coast, usually when they do certain situations, certain events, they always get called the same regular folks, Cube, Dre, Snoop, whatever the case may be. And it's, you know, it's kind of, it's not irritating, but it's kind of annoying for people who paved the way not to get the same shine. I mean, you know, when they came out here and did the event at the YouTube theater, we didn't know nothing about it. We didn't know nothing about it. I'm like, how the hell we didn't get tickets to that, man? Could you at least let a brother be in the building? That's kind of disrespect. I feel that we get. I mean, they did all that shit, flew all the people out here, had that big old show at the YouTube theater, which is less than 5 miles from my house. And I didn't hear about it till the night of the show. Man, how does that happen?
In my book, like on my cover, you see Brand Nubians, you see Pete Rock, CL Smooth, you see Heavy D and the Boys, you see DMX, you see the Locks, you see Mary J. Blige. But in the book, I dig into those cats that paved the way, names you don't never know, like the Collins brothers. You know what I'm saying? And all these cats that had the big sound systems that inspired all the cats. That is a brother I talk about. It's a brother in the book, DJ Mark Collins. In 1979, he coined the phrase "money earned in Mount Vernon." You know what I'm saying? It was a concert thing at some prep school in Harlem, and they were raising money for the uniforms. It was DJ, AJ, Grand Wizard Theodore's, the L Brothers, Busy Bee Starsky, Love Bug Starsky, all the legends. And they was there, but they had the biggest sound system. So when they turned their sound system on, they blasted everybody. But when they turned it off, so Busy Bee was emceeing for the L Brothers, and he got on, he said, I don't know where y'all think y'all from. This is money making Manhattan, not still learning Mount Vernon. And Mark was like, yo, we can't let that ride. And then he thought for a minute, and he was like, nah, money making Manhattan, we money earned in Mount Vernon. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, that became a thing. And he had these girls that rock with him called the Collins girls or whatever they were called. And they were running around the whole thing. Money earned in Mount Vernon, Collins Brothers #1. Money earned in Mount Vernon, Collins Brothers #1. So they would do parties in Philly and Connecticut and everywhere else. And eventually it got shortened down to Money earned in Mount Vernon. And then he did a Sweet 16 party for Heavy D's older sister, for a sister. And they did the same group, the Collins brothers. And when Hev saw them, he brought his parents downstairs and said, this is what I want to do for a living. You know what I'm saying? So and then Hev made the song Money Earned in Mount Vernon and all that. But Mark Collins the dudes you never heard about, the Collins brothers, they coined the phrase and they laid it down for like many of the groups that came out of Mount Vernon. You know what I'm saying? So I paid tribute to all of them. I paid tribute to the early graffiti artists. I used to be a graffiti artist too. I paid tribute to the old the DJs and that and the stuff that paved the way. And we lived. The funny thing, we didn't get respect for being in the from the 5 boroughs, but we lived. Mount Vernon is attached to the Bronx. Like there's a borderline, Mount Vernon and the Bronx. I lived on the street. The yellow line in the middle of the street, across the street was the Bronx.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So unlike those cities that didn't pay us no respect, Brooklyn and Queens and all of them, we ain't had to cross no bridge to get to the Bronx. We was attached to them. We was closer. So everything going on in the Bronx was just hiccuping over into like Mount Vernon, into Yonkers. Yonkers is also attached to the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I try to show that, you know, give that history and all that stuff to it and make it fun. You know what I mean? So
who was the first one to come out of a successful artist to come out of Mount Vernon?
Heavy D.
Okay. All right.
Heavy D. He wasn't the first one to make a record or anything, but he was the first one to come out that was successful on that level. You know what I'm saying? They ran up to Def Jam to get a record deal. Andre Harrell was working for Russell, but he was leaving. You know what I'm saying? And he liked what he heard, and he had them hold off until he started his new thing, which was Uptown. And Heaven was like the first artist signed. And that whole New Jack swing era and all of that came from Heavy D. All of that, you know, all of that stuff came from. And the one thing about Eddie F. So Eddie F is like a musician. So he was attaching hip hop production like an R&B production. So the music was so much fuller, like it was more tighter. It was different than, you know, the break beats that everybody was doing. So that's another thing they kind of set that off and started, you know. So,
you know, I was out last night for a minute, and I had this old 90-seat jump drive in my car, and Heavy D came on, and I was jamming like just last night, man. This is just last night. Overweight Level, come on, man. I'm just rocking, because you know,
Overweight Level, Heavy D.
I liked his groove. He seemed like a nice dude. You know, just from his music, he's like, you know him, because like he was a pretty cool dude. Again, he's a Gemini. Birthday was last week. That's I don't know if you knew that or not, but yeah, his birthday was last week, and I was thinking about him. Like I said, I'm rocking to his music last night, and I just think about the various transitions that happened during that era and to what we have currently. And it's a whole, you don't even feel good about this shit. You don't feel nothing about today's hip hop makes you feel good. There has nothing to make you spirit. Oh, okay, yeah. Nah, I don't see that.
I do want to, and I should have did this in the beginning. Shout out to my partner, Ron